do an exercise now. I'm going to request that each of you choose one partner, somebody that you're sitting next to. And if there's an odd person out, then it can be 3 of you, but preferably 2 people at a time. So please do that right now. Just find somebody to talk to, okay? Doesn't have to be anybody you know, just whoever's next to you, okay? Great. Okay. So you're gonna divide yourself, or you're gonna assign. You're gonna assign a partner to be A and somebody else to be B. Okay, it's not that difficult. So, who's gonna be A? Who's gonna be B? Just make that decision, please. Okay. We're gonna go for about 3 minutes each. Partner A is going to ask partner B, tell me where in your life you have difficulty saying no. Okay? Now, this shows up, let me just tell you, this shows up in 3 major areas of your life. We have difficulty saying no on the job, in our professional life. We have difficulty saying no in our personal life, in our relationship with friends, partners, spouses, family members. And the third area where we have difficulty saying no is to our own compulsions, our own addictions. Okay? I'm not going to go to the third one today, because this is not a talk on addiction. But in the first 2 areas, where in my life do I have difficulty saying no? With what people? And when I say difficulty saying no, I mean when there's a no there that wants to be said, but you're afraid to say it, you don't say it for whatever reason. Okay, so those are the areas and situations in your life that I like to identify. So, partner A is going to ask partner B, where in your life do you have difficulty saying no? And partner B will then just respond. Partner A is not going to say anything, oh yeah, I agree with you, it's the same for me, and oh yeah, for example. It's not a conversation, it's listening to the other. So partner A's job in that first 3 minutes is just to receive the information from partner B without commentary. And then I'm going to give the signal, and they're going to switch around, and then partner B will ask partner A the same question. Okay? Any questions on the exercise? Is it clear? Okay? Then go. I've introduced this exercise because actually it's another one that you can do on your own. Once a week you can do this. You can ask yourself, what this week, in what areas, with what people didn't I say no? Just do that exercise. This is again, the journey here is to recognize when you're not being authentic, not to recognize it critically or what an idiot, I did it again, but with curiosity and compassion. Just notice where your automatic behavior led you to abandon yourself. And then the second question then is, and I think this is in your handouts, the second question is, what is the impact of my not saying no? What is the impact physically? What is the impact emotionally? Actually, so let's just do that. Let me ask you first of all, just some of you randomly, what have you identified areas where you don't say no? Okay, anybody? Yeah? Sorry? Family, okay. Okay. Family as well, okay, and for example? Can we bring the mic here actually for a second? Thank you.
My mother and my grandmother, mostly, mainly, yeah.
So what do they ask you to do that you don't say no to?
Everything.
Everything,
Yeah.
right.
Finances, everything.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So let me ask you the next question. What's your name?
Stacy.
Stacy. So what is the impact on you when you don't say no? What is the impact on you?
If I don't say no?
Yeah, if you do what they ask you to, even if you feel no, but you don't say it, what is the impact? Physically?
I feel stressed.
You get stressed?
Yes.
Anything else?
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, yeah. So emotionally you feel stressed and overwhelmed. Any physical impact? Tiredness?
Yes. Yeah, fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Difficulty
Low
sleeping?
energy.
Low energy. Any difficulty sleeping at all?
Yes.
Difficulty sleeping? Any pains anywhere? Headaches or anything?
Yes.
Headaches, okay. You see, you pay a price. Okay, your body's saying no because you're not. Okay? So that's the impact. Okay? What's the impact emotionally when you don't say no? How do you feel towards them?
I feel bad.
Resentful?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk you into it. I'm asking.
Maybe now, yeah. Now that you're saying that, maybe because you know, they shouldn't ask for help from me.
They shouldn't ask. So
That's
you
how I feel,
resent.
I
So
guess.
no, that's not a feeling, of course. They shouldn't ask for help is not a feeling. What is it? Feelings are I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sad, I'm angry. Okay. What is they shouldn't ask for help from me? What is that?
A statement.
It's a point of view, right? That's your point of view. So the emotion is resentment, anger, right? Now here's the thing about resentment. By the way, when you feel resentful of them, do you feel closer to them or further away from them? Do you feel more connected or less connected?
I feel less connected.
Less connected.
Definitely, yeah.
So notice the irony of it. You don't say no because you're afraid of losing the connection.
Right.
And then you feel less connected.
Right.
So it doesn't even work. It gives you the opposite of what you really wanted. You see that? And here's what somebody said about resentment once. Resentment is when you take poison and you hope that somebody else will die of it. Okay? That's what resentment is.
Right.
So it's a slow, corrosive thing that you're doing to yourself. Okay? That's the emotional impact. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question earlier. I was trying to build the courage, but that's the thing is, I think me being authentic is caring and helping, and I think that's what me being authentic, but it's also stressing me at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's because you're both right and you're missing something. Okay? You're right. Being kind and caring is your true self.
right.
That's what we are as people. But there's a difference between being kind and authentic consciously and being kind and caring compulsively.
Right.
There's a difference. You can be kind and caring, and sometimes you can say a kind and caring no. You can say, you know what, I really see you need help right now. I'm not up for it. I'm overwhelmed, I got too much happening. Love you very much. Can't help you with this one.
Right.
That could be kind and caring. Kind and caring doesn't automatically mean I'm going to do everything they want me to do. So the question isn't that we shouldn't help others. It isn't that we shouldn't be compassionate. Sure, it's not that we should be that way. We are that way by nature. But is that compulsive, or are we being that way because we're afraid? Or we're being that way because at that moment, that's our authentic self? So that's the key question for you.
Right.
And if you can manage to say no, see, if you don't know how to say no, then your yeses don't mean anything at all. And as a matter of fact, think about it in terms of child development. What's the word that a kid starts to say at age 1.5? No. A friend of mine, his 3-year-old son, his name was Harold, and the son's name is Ben. And Harold, when Ben was 2 years old, says to Ben, "Hey Ben, do you want an apple?" And Ben says, "No, I want an apple." You know? What he's doing there is he's saying that, Dad, before I can say yes to you, I have to learn how to say no. Because if I don't know how to say no, then my yeses don't mean anything at all. And that's a natural dynamic in human existence. And that's why kids at age 1.5 start saying no. Because they need to become their own individuals. And until they do, their yeses are meaningless. So they say no before they say yes. Okay? And same with you. So what happened in your life at some point, when you were very small, is that your parents were so needy or so stressed or something happened that you learned that in order to maintain a relationship, you have to suppress your no. So here it is, a couple of decades later, and you're still doing it. So in that sense, you're still living in the past, you're still being a small child. So, as somebody said, there's two ways to say no. There's the reactive no, where someone says, yeah, no. Then there's a responsive no, when you've considered it and you've said, well, what do I actually feel about this? The reactive no is a pushing away of somebody else. But the responsive no is a movement towards yourself. So the question is, can you learn to say no as a way of moving towards yourself? Not to push the other person away, but to move towards yourself. And what you're going to get out of that is maybe some puzzled and maybe even hurt responses from your grandmother and your mother, but what you're also going to have is an authentic relationship with them, which is actually what you really want. Okay? So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Somebody else? Where you have trouble saying no, please? The mic's coming to you. Yeah, oh, you got it.
I already have one. So I was saying that I have a very hard time saying no to my 10-year-old daughter, which
Yeah.
is probably the worst thing.
Yeah. In what way?
Every way. And I know exactly why I do it,
Yeah.
which is, I think, the harder part for me. I'm overcompensating. I'm a single mom and have been from day one.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of caving, and so I was saying to my partner that it's kind of blown up at this point, being 10, and trying to now start saying no. So it's something we've both worked on because it started going on to her where she started saying yes to everybody as well.
Right.
But then would be, expressing to me that it wasn't something she really wanted
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
So it seems kind of hypocritical that I would sit there and tell her, no, it's okay to say no, but then she turns and asks me something that I know I should say no. And I'm
Well,
like, yeah, sure, honey.
Well, what's your name?
My name is Megan.
Megan?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first thing I would suggest you do is you look at how you talk about the problem. You say it's hypocritical. What is that?
Because I don't
No.
practice the same thing.
But what is the phrase that is hypocritical? What is that?
That I'm always saying
I know
yes
the meaning.
to her.
I know the meaning of the word.
Oh, sorry.
What does it represent on your part when you say I'm hypocritical? It's a judgment.
judging myself.
You're judging yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay? You're not going to get anywhere from that position.
That's true.
Okay? So notice that you're being hard on yourself. That actually who you really are is a dedicated mother who hasn't worked some things out yet. You're not hypocritical.
Okay.
Okay? Which point of view would you prefer, that you're a hypocrite or that you're a dedicated mother who hasn't figured things out yet?
I like the second one.
You like the second one better, yeah. Well, the second one also happens to be true.
Thank you.
The first one is just so notice the self-judgment, which already is a lack of authenticity, it's a lack of acceptance of yourself. Because from that judgment, you're going to feel shame, and from shame, you're not going to be able to learn anything.
This is true.
But if you just say, well, this is something I haven't worked out yet, well, then there's something to be learned here. Okay? And again, you're totally on the right track. I mean, what you've already found out is, are you really doing your daughter a favor when you don't say no?
I'm not doing her any favors
No,
when I say
because
yes
you're
all the
modeling
time.
something that you don't want her to become. Okay? So then, first of all, notice that this is kind of automatic behavior on your part. It's not that you really think about it and you do it. It's that, it's...
Yeah.
So just accept it. And when you do it, notice it. And when you've thought about it, go back to it. Sweetheart, I said yes, but you know what? The answer is actually no.
And I have before.
Okay,
I have
good.
gone
Yeah,
back.
and I realize you may be upset about this. I got it. Why would you like it? Why should she like it?
Especially at 10, right?
Yeah, especially at 10, especially when you trained her all her life to expect a yes. So just be compassionate to you and compassionate to her, and then more gradually you'll notice is that the behavior will be less automatic. But if you can, every time you notice that self-judgment, just drop the judgment and replace it with a more compassionate view of yourself. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks. What is the impact on you, by the way, when you have trouble, when you don't say no?
It's anything from financial to just that
Yeah.
horrible gut feeling. So I solved that with giving her her own allowance.
Yeah.
So she could learn how to use her own finances, sort
Yeah.
of thing, which
But the impact on you-
sounds minimal, but
But the impact on you is financial loss, is that right? Financial stress?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a little bit of kind of everything. There's that
Yeah.
financial, there's just the stress, and
Yeah.
but I think it all intertwines together because it's
Absolutely.
attached.
So again, I just want you to notice that you do pay a price. So when you do this, if you choose to do this exercise, then ask yourself, okay, where am I not saying no? what is the impact of me of not saying no? Physically and emotionally. Fatigue, dry mouth, headache, back spasms, whatever it is. And emotionally, resentment, depression, anxiety, whatever it happens to be. And finally, ask yourself, what is the story behind my not saying no? So, what do you think you're subconsciously telling yourself? When you say no, if I say no, that means that I am what? I'm a bad mother. If I say no, then I'm a bad person. If I say no, then I'm not lovable. If I say no, if I'm angry, and I'll do the exercise with anger for you in a minute, I forgot about that. If I'm angry, I'm not lovable. Now, once you've written down that story, and in other words, the hidden belief behind your difficulty saying no, then you can look at it. Is it true that if I say no, I'm not a good mother? Is that true?
No, I don't
It's
think
not
so.
true. Is it true that if I say no, I'm not a lovable person? It's not true. So in other words, what you do is you take that hidden story and you bring it onto the open. And when you bring it onto the open, then you can look at it consciously. Is it true? Well, it's not true. It's just some old programming that I have. It's just some old belief that I have from when I was 2 years old. It's not true. Then you can drop it. So if you did this exercise once a week, where did I say no? To whom? What was the impact? Physically, emotionally? What was the story behind it? Then you can learn to recognize it and then you can drop it. And this is what I mean. That the major work here is not desperately looking for your authentic self. You don't have to look for it. It's there. All you have to do is notice what's in the way of it, the ways in which you behave which are not authentic. Okay? It's really not that difficult to do that. Just keep noticing it, and when you notice it, then instead of, is it Stacy?
Megan.
Oh, Megan, sorry.
That's okay.
If you notice it, Megan, then instead of that reactive self-judgment, I'm being a hypocrite, you can say, well, what is it that I still have to learn here? Obviously, there's something I haven't figured out here yet. That's all. That's all there is to it.